Hi guys, I'm back with another drawing tutorial, and today we're going to be covering a very important part of drawing manga, and this is shading. And I have this character here that I just made. The kittens are playing with a ball behind me. If you don't know about the kittens I have a video about them here, but that's just off the subject, so whatever. So, shading. I'm going to show you how to shade this girl, and this is where the light source is going to be, which means the shadows will be cast on this side of the image. And that's a really basic thing that most drawing books will tell you, but something that you usually have to learn by yourself is what kind of shading to give different objects, because the skirt will be pretty easy. We know that these pleats are folded inwards and therefore have a darker shadow because the light can't touch it. But what about things like the face or the hair? Because those don't have just really straightforward pleats for us to, and creases for us to know where shading should go. And so I'm going to be looking at the different ways to shade different parts of this girl. And right now I'm just going to go through and tone the skirt. And now that we have the skirt toned, I'm going to do just a little bit of secondary shading so that it looks a lot softer. And this is just adding a slightly darker effect on the outside of the creases so that it looks rounded. And then at the base, this top of the skirt will be a lot darker because it's mostly shadowed by the jacket, and it is drawn up in a lot of wrinkles up at the belt part of the skirt. So that's it for the skirt section. Now I'm going to show you how to do the face. Since the manga face doesn't have much detail, we won't be putting shading in, say, like near the nose or the upper lip, because it's such a simple art style that if you put in too much shading it just looks very messy. So the parts of shading that I'm going to do on this face are just along the edges and along the hairline. This entire part will be very lightly shaded in because the hair is casting a shadow on her face, being above it and all. And then her neck, since the light is coming from this direction, her head will cast a shadow on the left side of her neck, like that. And this is actually pretty stark shading, like perhaps she's going Christmas shopping at night or something, but yeah, it's a little dark, but that is just so that you can see how to do this. And I'm actually going to indicate a tiny bit of a nose there. And now we're going to move on to the scarf, and behind the head there will be a lot of shadow because it's obscured by both the face, neck, and the hair, so it's going to be very deeply in shadow. And at this point it folds inwards and makes this wrinkle, and inside that deep wrinkle there will be more shading, and the same on this side and on the bottom edge of the scarf. Behind her, this scarf will also have shading because it's coming from behind her hair, which is, and her arm, which is casting a lot of shadow on it. And then on the edge, because it sort of flips down, and then I'll just lighten this a lot. And I'm just gonna shade in the mouth real quick. Hello, cricket. Cricket wants to visit us in the video. But we're busy. We're busy, Cricket. Alright, now moving on to her hair. And doing the hair is always my favorite part. First, I'm going to indicate where the most shadow will be on the front of the hair, and then where the most shadow will be on the back of the hair. And I'll just shade that in right now so that we can know where to go from here. So that's that for the back of the hair shading, and now I'm going to do the bangs falling in front of the face. And let me get a separate sheet of paper and I'll show you something about the hair. This is an important rule to remember when you're shading hair, that these separate curves of hair don't just get shaded like this. I mean, they can in some styles, but it's very good to imagine them as a three-dimensional object, like this, which means that it has a curved surface, and this side, which will be in shadow, that's why it would be shaded like this. Even though you can shade like this, just like a straight line across the whole thing, I usually like to put at least a small something in here to show that the hair is curved. I think it puts a lot more life into the drawing. So I'm just going to do that here. And a little bit over here. And then erase this stark line. And now we can move on to more complex shading, and this is usually just up to you, however much you want to shade or how little you want to shade. This really depends on your art style. And I'm actually going to put an average amount of shading detail. I think it's pretty average in this hair right here. And then just slightly, a very light tone. Okay, now I'm going to darken the parts that would be really, really, really dark. And next we'll be moving on to the coat. Okay, so now we will look at the parts of the coat that will be darker. At the elbow point, the fabric creases inwards, and this is going to be darker. At this point, the cloth wraps around the arm and has a slight wrinkle. That's going to be darker. Same on this side, and also the body casts a shadow on the inside of the arm, and on this arm it extends all the way down and blends with the elbow shadow. A slight shadow from the collar, and then the shadows on her body. Especially right here around her waist, where the coat wrinkles as it wraps around her and goes down around the skirt. A slight shadow up top because she does have a scarf and a lot of hair, which will be casting a shadow on her. And now we can, oh yeah, and this collar is just slightly above the coat itself. So now let's just shade all of this in. And I think it would look cool if the collar here and the cuffs was slightly darker than the rest of the coat. I think that'll make a nice contrast. So I'm just going to put that in. And a little more shading here, I think. And then on the bow. And there's not much else to do here except a little bit on the hand. We don't want her skin to be too dark in this picture. A tiny bit above the eyelashes. And on her bag. And I can't forget the blush, which makes her look so cute. And I'm just going to smear it a little. Even though apparently you're not supposed to smear with your finger, but whatever. I pretty much break all rules of drawing whenever I like. I'm going to darken the darker parts, and then before I end this video I'm going to show you how to make it look more like manga, like you're reading it in a book. So let me pull out my pen and we'll do that. Okay, now the stark black is where you will, that's what you'll use to shade the very darkest parts on her, such as that part on her neck and behind her head, this hair. These deepest wrinkles on her clothes. Basically, the very darkest points on the drawing will get this very dark shading. So I'm going to go through and do that. Okay, that is it for this video, and I hope this tutorial was helpful to you guys. And I actually have a really exciting video that I hope to get done pretty soon. I can't wait to tell you guys what I've discovered in the art program that I use, and I think that you'll really like that video. So don't forget to share this video and like and comment and all that stuff. And yeah, I'll see you on Friday.